Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to go over the AM Silver Bullet for August 7th. We're going to go candle by candle, so we're going to buy and sell down here based on what happens on the chart. So 10 o'clock, it starts right here, so let's start seeing what we have here. Okay, does that close? Yes. Alright, so the first thing I see starting the 10 o'clock hour right here is sell side's taken. Now do we continue to go down into this fair value gap here, which is, let's mark that on the chart here. Let's see if we get to come into that or not, to trade into that. We do. To the tick. See that? That's pretty nice right there. Just mark that on the chart here. So we have it. Okay. We have a fair value gap right here. Let's mark that on the chart. Okay. Let's see how price reacts. Okay, still to the tick. See that, like ICT says, the wicks do the damage, the candle bodies tell the story. It comes right down to this fair value gap. So it came from this fair value gap here. Let's mark this here, pre-silver bullet trading. That fair value gap, mark it so you see what it is. Price came down, came back, traded into there. I'm betting that's probably close to optimal trade entry as well. So right in here, optimal trade entry, so it's close. Price came down, now it's at this fair value gap. So now we're seeing if it's going to come up and respect this PD array, or if it's going to create more as it goes up. Or is it going to hit that and go back down? And if it goes down, we could be targeting these lows over here. Yeah, that'd be these lows down here. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so we're in the middle of that fair value gap. Now we're at the top. So see that right there is a bullish volume imbalance right there. And then we come back down. So it's respecting this fair value gap, so it might come back down further. Okay, so then this would be an inversion fair value gap right now. So you'd expect it to come up and down, but since it traded through it, now this would be an inversion fair value gap. Let me just move this over so you can see it. Okay, so let's see. Wow, big, huge candle. So let's just mark this on here too. This would be another inversion fair value gap right at this point. Okay. Let's see if we get any pullback here. We don't. Okay, so there's another fair value gap right here. So now this would be a good area to go long in, to go up. We haven't cleared this yet. And then we also have this high up here. So let's just see. Alright, right there. So that's been cleared. So let's put that on the chart here. Market structure shift to the upside. Alright, so let's see. We have another fair value gap right here. Let's actually put that on there. There you go. Okay, so if price comes back into this, or this, since it's another big one here, I'd probably take the bottom of this one. Ideally, I'd like price to come down here. But since it's so huge, it may not come all the way down. But we'd be targeting this high right here. That's where I'd be looking for at this point. Let's see how many. So if it came down to here, how far is that? It's over 5 handles. That's good. Well, the middle of this would be 10 handles. So that's good. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's see what happens here. We got this new week opening gap line right here. So let's see. Price coming down. Okay. All right, you know what? I'm going to buy 2 right there. That's at the top of that fair value gap. Ideally, I'd like to be filled right here or into this one. It doesn't quite reach it, but I'm not sure with that long wick if it's going to come down, and if it is, I'd come down here. So we're going to buy here. I'm going to put my thing right, my order right here is where I'd want to be filled, and then I'd come right below this fair value gap, but I can go, the max is 5 handles, so I'm just going right one tick below this fair value gap. If it's going to come into all this, then I want to get out under this volume imbalance and take it out, so they'd have one PD array here, 2 PD arrays, and a third one is this volume imbalance. Let me mark this on the chart here so you see it. This volume imbalance right here. Okay. If it's going to come all that, I want to be taken out. If it's going to hit all that, take me out. I don't need to add more to it. That's why my stop is right at the bottom of that. Okay. Where would I take a partial? It's about 60%. A candle close right in here somewhere. So let's lower that right there. And let's draw on liquidity would be right here. My draw would be right there because that's the next high. Obviously, it clears this new week opening gap somewhere in here. We're going to want to take a partial because new week opening gaps are famous for coming up to and pulling back from, having some kind of reaction. So I don't want to react and come all the way down. It could just blow right past it. We don't know, but they do sometimes have a reaction. So we shall see what happens here. Okay. That's good. All right, so that would have been, I would have had a limit order at 60%. That would have taken it. So I'm going to take one off there just to be fair. My stop now would be at break even. So let's move to my stop, my trailing stop. I would move my trailing stop to here, one tick above. Actually, one tick above would be right here. Okay, that's where my trailing stop is. So risk-free trade at this point. Okay, that's interesting. See how we're getting reaction at the new week opening gap level? There's just some kind of reaction. Doesn't necessarily have to wick through it or anything. It's just kind of zigzagging right there. Okay, that's good. Okay, when it comes up here, I'm moving my stop to at least 25%, so probably at least right there. So that's about 25%, I'd say. Pretty close. Close, though, to being taken out, but not quite. I need a candle close at the line to be able to leave it on. Alright, that'll take me out. I'll close that one here, flatten. Alright, let's just play the rest of the hour out. Alright. Okay, so question I'm going to get asked is that where you would have put your stop? Yeah, because this fair value gap right here, it probably would have been, looking at it, probably would have been at the bottom of the fair value gap because I'd want that to help hold the support price, not on the top. Either way, when I took this trade and I did move my stop up, I wasn't stopped out. But when you come up here, you're talking maybe 2 ticks away from being at the top. You want to have more than just break even. Especially if you're in like Apex, where this is a huge trailing drawdown to come down, would really be bad. So you gotta look at your PD arrays. This is a fair value gap right here. I wouldn't want to see that being disrespected. Just like this fair value gap here, it got disrespected. So I'm watching how price is going. So we'll see how this is a bullish volume imbalance right here. So you have characteristics of the buy program. But you also know that you're above the new week opening gap, and then it's going to hesitate, come back down there. So See how it comes up? It struggles here, breaks through the new week opening gap, and then comes back, struggles a little bit, and then comes back up. So a new week opening gap is like a magnet. Anyway, that's our trade. Let's take this off and go through it. So we came to the chart knowing that we had a high here, price came down, left a fair value gap behind, came back down, created some equal lows, came back up, hit the fair value gap, which was optimal trade entry here, and then came down. When we started the 10 o'clock silver bullet hour, that's where we were. We left a fair value gap behind as well, unfilled, and price came back, traded into this 1 minute fair value gap to the tick with the bodies, so that was good. Price came back up, created an inversion fair value gap, never really got to hit it, to trade off of it though. We did have a bullish volume imbalance, which is good to see bullish signatures, to see bullish price action. We had a long fair value gap followed by another smaller fair value gap, which led to the market structure shift and another bullish volume imbalance. Price came back down to the tick to the top of the fair value gap. We took our trade. We wanted to see it down here, but it never came that far. So when we took our entry, our stop had to be below the one fair value gap, the big fair value gap, the inversion, and the volume imbalance. Now, if you wanted to play it even safer, you could have put your stop below this, because this is another PD array as well, so you'd have one partial of this one and two. But I just did mine below the fair value or the volume imbalance because it's fine. So we took our trade. We took a partial after it went to about 60% above the new week opening gap. We took a partial. Price struggled. We moved our stop up when it got really close to where our target was within 2 ticks. We moved our stop even further, so we maintained more than about 28% of profit. If it did come all the way down, it did come quite far down, close to that 25% level, and then it rallied back up, and we got our full TP. So that is the AM Silver Bullet on August 7th.